Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin is on the air. Talking Golf is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Oak Park Place, Wild Rock Golf Club, Zimbrick European. Also, University Ridge Golf Course, Ridge Top Exteriors, Wisconsin.Golf, Cleary Building Corp., and Nevada Bobs. Now from the new home of TPC Wisconsin in Madison, here are the hosts of Talking Golf. Member of the Wisconsin Golf Hall of Fame, the legendary Dennis Tiziani, longtime Madison sportscaster Paul Braun, and Wisconsin sports veteran and statewide radio host Mike Heller.
Welcome to another edition of Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin, along with Dave McCann, our engineer, Dennis Tiziani, Mike Heller. I'm Paul Braun, and welcome to another show. And on tonight's show, we're loaded. We've got Steve Stricker, who's going to be joining us in about 3 or 4 minutes. Also on tonight is Steve Marino. He's the U.S. Senior Championship Director. We'll be talking about the big tournament coming up at Sentry World. Gary D'Amato was out in Los Angeles, California, and he covered the Open. And Bobbi Stricker, unfortunately, got beat in a playoff, but still performed very, very well. And she'll be on the show tonight. And if we've got some time, I've got a couple of beefs I want to bring out.
Oh, boy.
And it's based on 4 consecutive days last week. I played golf at 4 different golf courses. And some of the stuff that I saw on the golf courses with the golfers was absolutely frustrating.
Oh, boy.
And number 2 is we're going to chat a little bit about Hall of Fame and Steve Stricker. Yeah. And I don't think there's any way he could be eventually kept out of the Hall of Fame. And we'll get into all that later. So, Tiz, start with you.
Jeez, you did some homework for a change.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Holy man.
And we're underway.
Here we go. How about the U.S. Open? Your thoughts on the weekend out there?
Oh, it's fabulous. The competition was. But again, drive it 350 yards and hit a short iron out of the rough, you can compete. But you're not going to compete on when it's like that. When you hit the ball 260, 270, it's not going to do. But it was interesting. Certainly was good because an American won. I like that. Not that there's anything wrong with Rory, but this guy here did it, and it was a guy. It typified somewhere where a U.S. Open, somebody won that you never thought was even going to be involved. So it was really pretty. I thought it was great. I don't like the way the course was.
What didn't you like about it?
Well, I thought it was too penal. I mean, they brought fairways in. When I looked at some of the fairways, I looked at what was real green. Why is that 20 feet or 30 feet of fairway greener than the rest? Well, they grew the fairway grew in. They just let it grow. Bermuda. How can you hit out of Bermuda when the ball goes down in the bottom, So there was a premium on driving, but there's more of a premium on driving it a long ways.
Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Wyndham Clark is a great story to tell, and the way he handled adversity, because he put himself in some adverse positions late in the final round when he's playing the final 3 or 4 holes. But when he needed to make a good lag putt, as he did on his 72nd hole, or when he needed to make a good second shot from the left, he made those shots under the greatest pressure that you can have. So I thought he was a great story, a guy who has overcome adversity, the loss of his mother, struggling with his game and wanting to walk away from it, but staying in it. So I think those tell all the stories. And I'm always been a Rory fan, so watching him compete is fun. I wanted him to win, but Wyndham Clark is a great story, and I love that he won and the story he gets to tell.
And another big story was Ricky Fowler on the weekend.
Yeah, and Ricky, Dennis can speak to this better than I can, but Ricky has put himself in positions many times. Yesterday's finishing round is just not good enough to win in a major championship.
Yeah, he still has some work to do on his swing, which he's doing. You can't lay the club off like that consistently and make it right. The other is this guy Clark had a lot of good help from people not making putts.
Yeah.
I mean, Rory McIlroy missed some putts. The other guy missed putts like crazy. And he did great. You can't take anything away from him. And he stayed in there when the pressure was on. He's a guy who's only won one other tournament. And he's playing
he did
in the
that
US,
recently.
And he's playing in the U.S. Open. Are you kidding me? So.
And by the way, depending on timing, we have comments from Ricky Fowler, Rory McIlroy, and Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark, with yesterday's win, moved up to 13th in the world rankings.
Isn't that crazy?
He's won twice ever, and he's number 13 in the world rankings. Depends on where you
I
win.
wonder what was in that bottle that the guy was carrying around. Ever see anything like that before?
Ricky?
He's
That's
carrying
Steve
a water
Stricker on line
bottle.
one.
What the hell is all that? You know?
Well, we got a special guest with us on the show here.
Yeah.
Oh, a week from now, he's going to be up at the U.S. Senior Open at Sentry World in Stevens Point, a well-earned week off in between, 2 weeks off in between for Steve Stricker, who joins us, the winner of the AmFam Championship that wrapped up 8 days ago. And Steve, I know that you appreciate the little bit of downtime, so you got a little bit of downtime from the game before Stevens Point next week. That allows you to enjoy some of the outdoors, a little cabin life, however that works, right?
Yeah, we're up in northern Wisconsin. Just actually, we're just putting our clubs away from golfing. So,
Little Minocqua Country Club today?
I get away. Yeah, Little Minocqua Country Club. It's a great spot. Nice place here, and we're lucky to be able to play it. It's a lot of fun.
Steve, I'm curious about next week's U.S. Senior Open at Sentry World. Just in theory, like a course that that was redone, how much do you need to see it, or play it, as opposed to it's just playing your game and you learn the yardages and the layout as you're there? How often do you need to see it to feel comfortable?
Yeah, it's. I looked at it on our way up here on last Thursday, and it was not a good day to kind of play it. It was a north wind, cold, 50, low 50s. So I just really hit T-balls, and I looked at the course, spent a couple hours there. And then I'm going to do it again, find a nice day where the weather's supposed to be, wind out of the south and kind of what we should be playing in. And I'll play that again before the week, and then probably just go play 9 holes Tuesday and 9 holes Wednesday of the tournament week. And so I'll get a couple times around there, and but it's pretty straightforward. The rough is up high, the course is in great shape, but I'll get there that week and just make sure I get used to the conditions that we're going to have.
Steve, you hear players talk about that visually this course, I like it because of these reasons based on their particular game and that kind of thing. In terms of your abilities and the way you play, anything special about Sentry World? Does it set up nice for you, or visually does it kind of match with what you like to see?
Yeah, it does. It does set up, well for me, I think. I'm going to have to drive it well. The rough is up, like I said. The fairways aren't very wide. So you're going to have to put the ball in the fairway, and that's going to be job number one. And then from there, depending on how long they make it, it should be, somewhat of a mid-iron to a short iron in your hand, So it's there's going to be scoring opportunities, but I think driving the ball in the fairway is going to be, of utmost importance.
Steve, a little bit later on, we're going to have Bobbi on the show again. What were your thoughts of her performance in the State Women's Open last week? I know you were walking along the last couple of days, I believe. Just your reaction to what she went through, and again, another learning opportunity, right?
Yeah, it was. And I was able to see it up close and personal just because I went around with her caddy for the last day. And she's doing some good things. There's some things that I see that she needs to continue to improve on, and we talked about it. And just getting more reps under her belt. She's, like I said, she's late to the game, and she hasn't played a lot of tournament golf. So I think just the more that she can do that, the better. And she learns from each and every time she goes out there. And a playoff, getting beat stinks, but playoff scenario, you can learn a lot from that on what you did and how you're feeling, your emotions, how your body felt, all that kind of stuff.
I'm also curious because I think you've gone around there a few times with Jerry Kelly when you were young, and to watch Bobbi do it with Tess, and they're good friends. Did that bring back some of that competitive memory for you?
Yeah, you know what? That was one of the first courses that I played a junior event at. I think it was the state junior championship there, and I don't know. Gene Haas tells the story, like I was 12 or 13 or something like that, and they had the long drive contest, and I remember teeing off number 1 there in the long drive contest, and I hit the ball in the fairway every time, but it was only out there about 220, he said. So, things have changed, but it does. It brings back memories of when I played there. I started kind of, like I said, one of my first junior events that I ever played in the state was up there as a young kid, and I know my brother went with me, so it was a pretty cool reminiscing about that tournament years ago.
Steve, one more question. We're going to go down memory lane, and I think you might get a kick out of this one. 8 guys Saturday went and played Edgerton, and I think 7 of us had never been there before. And if you've never played Edgerton, there was an additional 18 holes added, and Steve designed that. But Steve, that original 9 at Edgerton is very hilly. There are a lot of sloping greens. Your putting and your short game, and growing up and playing there, we were talking about it afterwards, and everybody was saying, I wonder if that's part of Steve's success because of that course and the way you had to play it. Is that a fair thing?
Yeah, very much so. It was 9 holes back when I grew up there, and really small little greens, so you didn't hit the green very often. We didn't have a range, so I just went around there and played and learned to get the ball in the hole. And then we were also members over at Lake Ripley Country Club in Cambridge, another course that was longer but really small greens. So you really had to, if you were going to score, you had to have a good short game and learn how to get it up and down and make putts and all that kind of stuff. So, there's no question. You're right, Paul. And there's no question in my mind that those 2 courses shaped me as a player. And the conditions at the Town Country Club when I was a kid, they didn't have watered fairways. They didn't have bent grass fairways, none of that stuff. And so I learned to play out of conditions that weren't exactly pure. They're way better now than when I played as a kid. And so I learned how to play all those little different shots around the greens under kind of somewhat mediocre conditions. So it helped a lot.
By the way, if you got picked up in the future, there's a tab down there for you. It's the 8 guys.
Right?
No, we're kidding. But
just wait till you see yours at the TPC.
Yeah, right. Well
thanks,
done.
Steve. We appreciate
Steve,
it.
thanks for being with us.
I'll see you, buddy.
We'll be back after this timeout. This is Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Relationships.
Building them.
Making them last a lifetime.
Since 1978, Cleary has worked to develop true relationships with you, our customers. Hi, I'm Sean Cleary, president of Cleary Building Corp. Relationships are what drive our success. So whether you are looking at storage for your toys or a new ag building, we hope to exceed your expectations each time we serve you. We are here for every stage of your life. Build your dreams today at clearybuilding.com.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf Effect Radio Show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right
Gary
balance
D'Amato
of
is
care
ready.
centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
It's time to lock in your tee time at University Ridge Golf Course. Now taking reservations up to 90 days in advance for the 2023 golf season. Book at universityridge.com. Proud host of the American Family Insurance Championship, University Ridge is a course for everyone with tees ranging from 5,000 to 7,200 yards. Even if you don't have time to play, stop out and play on the free putting course or pay $20 to hit practice balls for an hour on our grass tee practice range. Play where the Badgers and the pros play in 2023.
When it comes to golf, being the best takes years of hard work, focus, and love of the game. It's no different for Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 20 years, transferring our neighbors' homes with new roofs, siding, and windows has been par for the course, and we've mastered our craft. For a free estimate, go to ridgetopexteriors.com. Affordable roofing, siding, and windows, plus award-winning customer service. Get your estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com and let them know Ridgetop Larry sent you.
Looking for new equipment? TPC Wisconsin has a team of certified fitters that have been ranked top 100 club fitters by Golf Digest, Titleist, Ping, and Mizuno. TPC Wisconsin fitters use science, art, technology, and ball flight to determine the best equipment for your swing. To schedule your private fitting experience, contact Dylan Parisi at 608-249-1000. Learn from the best. Get better. Only at TPC Wisconsin. And we're back at TPC Wisconsin, which is in Madison, and along with Dennis Tiziani, Mike Heller, I'm Paul Brown, and now one of our favorite guests from Los Angeles, California, where he goes all over the world to watch golf tournaments, doesn't he, Mike?
Yeah, he's a world traveler. I wanted to give room for Dennis to give a snide remark there. Anything you want to add right away?
Well, he fits with all the lefties.
Oh, boy. Well, yes.
Oh, no, fits perfect right in.
You know, your brother played golf as a left-hander in his young days.
No, lefty. I wasn't talking about
left
lefty.
coast.
Come on.
Left coast.
Okay.
Left.
All right.
Yeah, political discussion here on the show.
Pinch him, will you?
Gary D'Amato joins us. He is the president of the National Golf Writers Association of America. Gary, your overall view of what just wrapped up with the U.S. Open at L.A. Country Club later last night. What was your overriding view?
Boy, Wyndham Clark, man alive, that guy played fantastic golf. Pressure put on him from all sides, from great players who had won major championships, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler trying to win his first, and Wyndham Clark stepped up and just hit great shot after great shot. When he got in trouble, he got out of trouble expertly, and just played a phenomenal 4 days of golf, but especially Sunday, I thought.
And actually, courtesy of the Golf Channel, we have a comment from Wyndham Clark after he won his championship, and he talked about mentally and where he's made changes in his game in the last couple of years.
I've always I felt like a very sound technical swing, but my first few years on tour, I didn't know where the ball was going. The swing might have looked pretty, but I didn't have ball control. And when I chose about a year and a half ago to go on my own to work on my swing and not work with any coach, I really learned to own my swing and my game. And, my caddy, John, basically looks at my lines and he says, hey, you're swinging too far left, you're swinging too far right. And we just always try to bring it back to neutral. And, that started about a year and a half ago, and I just started seeing huge gains in my strokes gain approach and off the tee, and that just breeds confidence. And then combining that with strong mental game, I feel like I'm in a position where I could win any tournament.
Let me do two things with that sound from Wyndham Clark. Dennis, first with you, since you're on the teaching side of the game. What do you hear from him when he was talking about that he's had a technically solid swing, but then hadn't figured out how to make it go where he wanted it to go?
Well, obviously, he really didn't know the physics of what went on. He had playing by feel, didn't know the physics. However, he made a statement that he got rid of his coach, and I shouldn't say it that way, got rid of his coach, but he got off to be his own best teacher.
Yeah.
Part of our program here, and we did it with Steve and everybody else, you're going along, when the coach can't be out there all the time, you better have figured out yourself of why the things happen. And that's what the trick is, to become your own best coach. That's great what he said. He's making all kinds of sense. And he does have a good sound swing.
Yeah.
A great big slice that they hit, right?
Yep.
But under present conditions, that's the way to do it. The ball won't run away from it. You can control that. You can talk to the ball that goes left to right. But the one that goes right to left has a mind of its own. It's gone. It's gone.
Gary, you were front and center throughout the weekend. What did you make of? We just heard the composure and the way he handled Wyndham Clark, those moments. What did you make of that?
Yeah, what surprised me most about Wyndham, and I remember watching him play. He played in the Western Junior Amateur at Blue Mountain Country Club. That must have been, 10, 12 years ago. And I think he reached the semifinals. That was the one Patrick Rogers won. But what amazes me most about him, is, most of these guys have entourages now, and swing coaches and putting coaches and physios, and they travel with groups of people. And he's pretty much a lone wolf. He doesn't really have a swing coach, and he owns the swing. As Dennis said, he plays that big left to right cut, but he knows where the ball is going. And that's the most important thing.
Gary, one of the big events of the weekend, Ricky Fowler, a lot of people were for him. Also Rory, making a big deal. He hasn't won a major in 11 or 9 years. By the way, Tiger went 11 years between majors, but he had a lot of injuries in between. How was Rory and the reaction to what happened to him out there over the weekend?
Yeah, Rory, I thought he played a really good round of golf. He just, he opened with a birdie and then made just a bunch of pars in a row. Normally that's good enough when you're right there in or near the lead to win a U.S. Open on Sunday, but obviously wasn't the case yesterday. But, he keeps getting close, and I'm sure the pressure is mounting internally on him, but, he's going to win more majors. I don't think there's any question about that. It just seems like one guy ago played him. It was Cam Smith last year, and yesterday was Wyndham Clark. But he's not done with majors. He's going to win another couple, I'm sure.
Gary, with the U.S. Open, the golf course is always one of the lead stories of the week. What was your view and your brethren's view of this golf course, LA Country Club, in the U.S. Open?
I tweeted a couple of things that got big reaction. I don't, the scoring on the first day is one thing. The two guys who shot 62s and there were 264s. There were a lot of low scores, a record low scoring average for their first round. That didn't bother me as much as when it happened at Erin Hills, people ripped the golf course. And this time, there was some concern about the low scoring, but because it's a golden age course, 100 years old, it didn't get the kind of criticism that Erin Hills got in 2017, but I thought it was a good U.S. Open venue. I don't think it's a great U.S. Open venue. There's too many quirky holes. There's blind shots. There's too many wedges in the greens. It's supposed to come back in 2039. I would imagine that they'll make some changes to the course between now and then.
We're chatting with Gary D'Amato, who's out in Los Angeles, and Ricky Fowler. He had not won in 4 years. He missed 6 of the last 10 major events and that type of thing. What was the environment? There was an awful lot of people hoping that Ricky would win, wasn't there?
Yeah, he's always been a crowd favorite. But having said that, there were only 22,000 fans per day on the course at LACC, and 13 to 14,000 of those went to hospitality. And then there was reports that Los Angeles Country Club members bought up like 4,000 to 5,000 more tickets. So there were only for a U.S. Open, there were only 4,000 people, came off the street and watched daily. So the crowds were smaller than we're used to seeing at a U.S. Open because the venue is really tight and it's a hard course to walk and there's not a lot of room for spectators. But certainly, Ricky has his share of fans, and I'm sure a huge percentage of gatherers is calling for him to win.
Talking to Gary D'Amato, let me take you back to the golf course for a minute. With the change on the calendar, there is speculation that it's going to be hard for a major championship to come back to the state of Wisconsin. Can the U.S. Open come back here again, or will there be a major in Wisconsin as we roll forward with the new calendar?
Yeah, it's going to be tough, Mike, for the PGA Championship to return there after 3 times at Whistling Straits, because not so much because of the weather in May, because golfers can play in almost anything, but just because the course won't quite be ready, in mid to late May for a PGA Championship. The U.S. Open is scheduled out pretty far now. And I think there's one opening in the next 12 to 15 years. I don't know who they're holding that for, but the U.S. Women's Open comes to Erin Hills in 2025, and I think that is going to be a home run. That's my feeling. That's my prediction. It's going to be a great U.S. Women's Open, and if that happens, maybe the USGA looks at Erin Hills again for a future U.S. Open down the line.
I want to switch gears here a little bit and get your impressions from not only Gary but from Dennis and Mike. We've discussed in the past, and people talk about Steve becoming a member of the Hall of Fame, and there was always a, quote, rumor that he may not get in because he had not won a major on the regular tour and that kind of thing. And I did some research, and it's provided by Wikipedia, and it talks about the World Golf Hall of Fame. And in 2015, they started to make some changes on what the criteria was. And I'm not going to go through that. Basically, there was 4 different categories. There was the male, the female, the veterans, and the lifetime achievement categories where you can become a member of the Hall of Fame. But the big one, here's the criteria that is now listed for the Champions Tour. They have the PGA Tour. They also have a listing now of the Champions Tour and how you potentially can become a Hall of Fame member. In my mind, I want to see if you guys agree, and should Steve be in. Under the Champions Tour, it's listed you have to have been a member for 5 years and won 20 events between the PGA Tour and the Champions Tour. Steve's won 27. One of the other criteria, or 5 wins in the majors, including the regular or the senior. Steve already has 6 majors. Dennis, if this is correct, there's no way that he should be kept out of the Hall of Fame. And I don't think that's been a question, but legitimately it looks like he now meets the criteria to get in.
Oh, no question, But there's some other things, too. President's Cup, Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
All those things that some of those guys that are in there shouldn't even be in the Hall of Fame.
Chichi Rodriguez.
Where
I just went through a few of them. Your buddy Lanny Watkins, he hasn't won.
they made the criteria so they got in, but clearly, I think Steve made a great comment. After he accepted the trophy for the Ryder Cup, and the guy asked him about it, and he said, this is my major. Mm-hmm. He made a statement there. He really looks at that as the major. But now with this new criteria, which you're bringing up, I mean, there's no question why he wouldn't be. But wait, he's not done yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not done.
He's not done yet.
Gary, what's your view on Steve's candidacy for the World Golf Hall of Fame?
Yeah, before you guys said that last line, I was going to pipe in and say he's far from done.
He's not done yet.
He's going to win a lot for tournaments. We're talking 6 majors. I mean, he may wind up with 12 to 14 senior majors before he's done. And then he's an absolute shoo-in. At some point, he becomes a shoo-in. Right now, I think he's got the credentials and the portfolio that he should be in. But as time goes on and he keeps adding to it, it becomes a no-brainer, I think.
All right, Gary, we're going to let you go. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you, Gary.
Where are you heading next in the United States?
Isn't he
Gary?
staying out there? Are you
staying? Next, I'm at Sentry World next week.
That's what I figured.
Say, I got another. I'll let you know about another site in Wisconsin for a major someday when you got some time.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
you give him the tip and not us on the show?
He's.
I thought you didn't like Gary.
Well, he's got a big mouth. I mean, he can get it out. He can get it out there, But I got a tip for him.
That's right.
We'll be back after this timeout. This is Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
A new year, and maybe it's time for new equipment. If yes, Nevada Bob's is the place to go. Jeff and Max are the fittest fitters around, and they can set you up from driver to putter and everything in between. And anything else golf-related, wheel and deal with Joel.
Your game, your store, always at the best price. Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When you're looking for an amazing golf experience, look no further than Wild Rock Golf Club in the Wisconsin Dells.
Steve Marino
This stunning
is ready on
championship
line
course
one.
offers unforgettable views from elevated tee boxes with greens that roll fast and true. Cut from the natural beauty of the Dells, Wild Rock is truly a sight to behold. Secluded and sheltered from the outside world, Wild Rock is a unique gem that offers challenges for all skill levels. Enjoy the Wild Rock experience. Do yourself a favor by booking your tee time online today at wildrockgolf.com. That's wildrockgolf.com.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf Effect radio show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right balance of care centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
This is Gary D'Amato, senior writer for Killarney Golf Media and Wisconsin.Golf. Visit Wisconsin.Golf for the latest in golf news and feature stories about people, places, and tournaments in our state. And listen to Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin to hear me spar with Dennis Tiziani. Wisconsin.Golf and Talking Golf on the internet and on your radio dial, the voices of golf in Wisconsin.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part. New or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Once again, back with you at TPC Wisconsin on Talking Golf. Dennis Tiziani, Paul Brown, I'm Mike Heller. Dave McCann is here as well. And let's welcome in Steve Marino. He is the U.S. Senior Open Championship Director. That tournament gets underway 10 days from now at Sentry World in Stevens Point, the next major on the Champions Tour. Steve, thanks for spending some time with us. Let me ask you about this, and we got a chance to visit a while back, but the biggest challenge in putting on a championship at a course that hadn't hosted this level of a championship before in Sentry World in central Wisconsin.
Yeah, thanks for having me on this evening, gentlemen. It's an honor to be here with you all and talk U.S. Senior Open Golf. It's coming fast and furious. We've just began our advanced week here, so it's been a wonderful ride thus far, and we're looking to cap it off really well next Sunday, coming up with a great champion, whoever that might be. So, kind of touching on your question, what's the most difficult thing? A place that's never hosted a major championship or an event of this caliber, I think. Volunteer recruitment's always kind of an unknown variable. You don't know how it's going to be received in the community, and I'm very proud to say that it was phenomenally received by everybody here, and people came out in droves to support the championship. So that was a great feat.
Let me follow up on ticket sales. I know there's been a strong push. It is into a holiday weekend in the middle of summer. Where do you sit there, Steve, and from a hospitality standpoint, and the suites, and just the general ticket buy? What's the update?
Yeah, it's volunteer ticket sales, corporate hospitality sales. Everything has picked up really, really well over the last about a month and a half or so. It's warm weather here in central Wisconsin. It's beautiful. People are out playing golf again. It's after the Masters, so it's summertime here. So people are now thinking about golf, and ticket sales have picked up immensely. So we've had a couple great weeks. We're expecting some big crowds, and corporate numbers are great as well. So we've got a phenomenal build out on 18, right behind the green. Also on players right all the way up the fairway. We've got chalets on 18. We've got skyboxes on 16, skybox on 17. We've got stuff on 14 and 9. So, I mean, it's going to be a nice build out, and it's going to look really full out there.
Steve, what's the reaction been to the people that have been exposed to the reconstruction of the course, and how do they see it?
You know, everything has been positive thus far. We've had a lot of guys come play some practice rounds over the last few weeks, and people have loved it. They like the lengthening of the tee boxes. They like the new greens. The rough is gnarly, so it's going to play like a U.S. Open style course with some thick rough. But all the feedback that we've received has been excellent, and Sentry World has done a great job, and their maintenance team, their superintendent Matt Smith, he and his crew, they're working tirelessly to keep this place in just immaculate shape.
Talking to Steve Marino, he's the U.S. Senior Open Championship Director, which is at Sentry World in Stevens Point beginning a week from this Thursday. And, it's an extraordinary golf course because it is going to be new to all of these players. Other than maybe finding their way in for a practice round leading up to it, they haven't played here before, and I think that's always fun. And whether the USGA likes it or not, when you have a USGA event, whether it's the U.S. Open that just wrapped or the Senior Open, the golf course is part of the story. Am I right?
It is. It sure is. And it's a beautiful golf course, a wonderful Parkland-style setting, immaculately maintained. And, it's going to be a really good test of golf. As I mentioned before, the rough is thick. The greens are fast. They're not super undulating where it's going to just, totally trick you up, but there's some very subtle nuances that you really have to be aware of. So it's going to be a great golf course. And to your point about no one really hadn't played it for the guys that are going to come play it, other than maybe some practice rounds, it's kind of a fair, clean slate for everybody. So everybody has the same chance to play well or not play well. So I think it's really going to make sure that players put a premium on driving accuracy with how thick the rough is, and you can do that, you're going to hopefully score pretty well out here.
Steve, I also think it's extraordinary that nobody, other than the practice rounds for tournament players, nobody has played this course since last September. That is a rare concept to have a tournament played at the end of June into the first 2 days of July and not have had a public or member round played on the golf course in almost 9 months.
It is, and it's... In our line of work, it's completely unheard of. I mean, we're accustomed to setting up and doing the build, for months at a time prior to the championship or the tournament, and play is still going on all the way up until sometimes the day or two prior to the championship week starting. So we're fortunate that Sentry and Sentry World have really taken an investment in this property to make sure that it's been closed and it's going to be showcased in the perfect light on television. And it's completely unheard of, and when we tell people that, their jaw drops. So we're very fortunate to have that happen here.
Extraordinary. Steve Marino, thanks for spending some time with us. I wish you the best of possible championships. We'll look forward to being up there next week.
My pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll look forward to having you, and how you enjoy your evening.
Steve Marino, the U.S. Senior Open Championship Director. Dennis, that's extraordinary that nobody has played this golf course other than practice rounds by tournament field members since last September.
Well, it is unheard of. They built it to start with, and I was involved with Trent Jones on that course. But then this is the second renovation with nobody doing it. So they really went all out this trip to make it perfect. And it was very good before. They did a nice job with all the stuff they did. But there were some issues. And length of the course was one of them, and they did that. Undulations on the greens, that was another one. The ability to go ahead to make it the rough. So they did it. They did everything for a tournament. It is a tournament course.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back on Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin right after this timeout.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. Also, you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
TPC Wisconsin houses a world-class golf instruction, coaching, and club fitting experience. Golfers have year-round access to our award-winning coaches and club fitters, state-of-the-art technologies, and PGA Tour quality facilities. If you'd like to learn more about junior and women's golf, private instruction, group coaching, or business clinics, please contact Travis Becker at tbecker@tpcwisconsin.com. Learn from the best. Get better.
Bobbi
Only
Stricker
at
is ready.
TPC Wisconsin.
Thank you.
When you're looking for an amazing golf experience, look no further than Wild Rock Golf Club in the Wisconsin Dells. This stunning championship course offers unforgettable views from elevated tee boxes with greens that roll fast and true. Cut from the natural beauty of the Dells, Wild Rock is truly a sight to behold. Secluded and sheltered from the outside world, Wild Rock is a unique gem that offers challenges for all skill levels. Enjoy the Wild Rock experience. Do yourself a favor by booking your tee time online today at wildrockgolf.com. That's wildrockgolf.com.
When it comes to golf, being the best takes years of hard work, focus, and love of the game. It's no different for Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 20 years, transferring our neighbors' homes with new roofs, siding, and windows has been par for the course, and we've mastered our craft. For a free estimate, go to ridgetopexteriors.com. Affordable roofing, siding, and windows, plus award-winning customer service. Get your estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com and let them know Ridgetop Larry sent you.
Hi, I'm Sean Cleary. I'd like to take a quick 30 seconds and talk to you about the most important part of a Cleary building, the foundation. Without it, you won't be able to stand the test of time. At Cleary, our foundation is made up of some truly amazing people. Our Cleary family rises to the challenge every day, and it shows when that shamrock is applied. So if you are looking for a new challenge at our corporate office or out on the construction site, join the Cleary family today by clicking on careersatclearybuilding.com.
This is Gary D'Amato, senior writer for Killarney Golf Media and Wisconsin.Golf. Visit Wisconsin.Golf for the latest in golf news and feature stories about people, places, and tournaments in our state. And listen to Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin to hear me spar with Dennis Tiziani. Wisconsin.Golf and Talking Golf. On the internet and on your radio dial, the voices of golf in Wisconsin.
Back at TPC Wisconsin, along with Dennis Tiziani, Mike Heller, I'm Paul Braun. And what's your beef? That's me.
Here it is.
What's your beef?
Here it comes.
With friends last week, I hadn't done this in a long, long time. We played 4 different golf courses on 4 different days. And here's some of the things that we personally, and I wrote them down, saw. And I guess my point is, I'm not sure what's happening with golfers. And golf etiquette and courtesy seems to be going totally by the wayside. In one particular case, 2 groups of 4 players, they wouldn't let anybody go through. They were playing tees based on what we saw. They had no business playing. In some cases, they didn't even get the ball to the forward tee, and it was hooked left or right. So they weren't playing the proper tees. One group had 5 players, the 5th being a young boy with 4 guys, and they occasionally let him hit a shot, which when you look at it on the surface, okay, he's learning how to play golf. However, and I'm being gracious here, that round took almost 5 hours because they wouldn't let anybody go through, and we were stuck behind them. There was a group of 3 players that were playing the back tees where there wasn't even a tee marker on certain holes, and they wouldn't let anybody go through, and there were 2 open holes in front of those 3 guys. In other words, on a par 3, the white, and this, there was the back tee, there was no marker back there. They went back there and played at their own pace and did their own thing. We were getting ready to tee off on one course. On the 10th hole, 2 carts drove into our fairway as the first guy was getting ready to hit. They had 4 balls in our fairway, and they hit all 4 of those balls while we stood on the tee and waited for them. One of the golf courses, you can have your own golf cart. But etiquette-wise, that cart had become a problem, and they send out a note to the members. We saw 2 different foursomes where they had 4 individual carts, even though the course asked them not to do it. And those carts, in certain situations, were parked less than 5 feet from the green and the fringe, which is what you're not supposed to do. I don't know what in the hell has happened to repairing ball marks on golf courses, on the greens. People just totally ignore them. And people don't play ready golf. We saw people sitting in carts. 3 of them are sitting in the carts. 1 is hitting. He puts his club away. Then the next one gets out, and they're not moving to their ball to play ready golf. And it drives you crazy. One guy with a group was putting, and one guy was on the phone. And he continued to talk on the phone.
Dennis, he's got 17 of these written down.
This is all stuff we saw on the 4 days of playing golf. And I guess what I'm saying is, what's happened to golf etiquette? What's happened to letting people go through if you're a slower group and that kind of thing? Am I just being crabby, or seriously, it was frustrating.
You're just spoiled. You're used to playing here where all this stuff never happens. And all of a sudden it is. But I've got another, it's a joke.
No, we were spoiled playing here.
Well, there's no question, but I'm telling you this, and this is not derogatory to any place else, but who's running the show? Collect the green fees, and a lot of people who are in golf, quote, pros, are credit card collectors. It used to be that when they had a golf course and the pro walked into a shop, he was the best player on the not anymore. It used to be that he was a lot of them aren't teaching at all. And what's happening is, and I don't discredit those, but it's a PGA itself. How can you continue thinking that you're going to get quality people to run your shop or run your star if you provide no incentives for them, as in retirement accounts or stuff like that? We don't have that. So we're not going to be getting the best players. And I look back at go 20 years ago, where those players at some of those Milwaukee County or club courses had golf professionals who ran the show. That doesn't happen. That does not happen here. Just the stuff that you talked about.
And let me add to that. Again, from a viewpoint of kind of growing up in the game as an adult here in Madison, you didn't screw around like that if you went to Dennis Mitchell's golf course at Nakoma, or to Mike Schnarr's at Blackhawk, or to Dennis Tiziani's here. No. You didn't, and Tom Benson at Odana. You didn't mess around, because those guys kept you. You followed the rules, and sometimes you got to be kind of
you're a policeman,
right?
That's what it is.
But it's also golf being played the right way, and then you've got all of these public golf courses, and they want to cash the checks. And I don't blame them. It's still a business. They want the most amount of rounds, and so there are no limitations on. They don't enforce fivesomes. They don't enforce you got to have 2 carts, and everybody's got to have their own golf bag. They don't enforce the no denim, the no collar.
But where's the responsibility for the people playing to have a little courtesy
who owns
and
the,
a little
who owns
respect?
the place? Who owns the place?
The owner. Yeah.
Who owns the place?
All right.
That's where you'd have to go. And in some cases, there's a board of directors that should be managing what's going on. It doesn't happen. But to Mike's point, it's about rounds of golf and how much money you can take in. It's another one of those sports where money is taken over.
Maybe I was just cranky because I wasn't playing worth it.
Well, I wasn't going to. I was going to say that.
And it's something, I don't want to belabor this because I know we got to go. We want to talk to Bobby, but you want to grow the game. But to your point, and you did sound kind of crabby, but to your point, Paul, is that you want to grow the game, but you want to grow it with the correct etiquettes and elements of the game. Now, the game shouldn't be stodgy. The game should grow and expound, but you still should follow certain forms of etiquette and rules and decorum at the golf course that makes it fair and fun for everybody.
Well, we got to get around in a certain period of time.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
can't stay out there 5-6 hours and think you're going to get someplace. You got to get around. So you need a person to do it.
How long have you played here, Paul?
Here at Cherokee?
Yeah.
For over 40 years.
Right. So, and for over 40 years, if you were out here, the round would never take more than 4 hours and 15 minutes, and typically it was 4. But if you go to Odana or you go to Pleasant View or you go to Yahara, if it's crowded, you're not playing in 4.
But my point is, if people would follow some basic rules, it wouldn't be 4.5
But they don't know the rules.
They don't know the rules because
okay.
they don't have the teachers at those courses aren't
Right.
spending time doing that. They don't have the manpower to do it at some places, right? I mean, that would
Well,
be
they got
fair.
credit card collectors.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stop being crabby and we'll bring Bobby on. Bobby, they say I'm crabby, so maybe I better not
It's
ask
true, Bobby.
ask any questions here tonight. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah, Bobby, thanks for being in here. Let me ask you about last week. We talked to your dad earlier today, and let's talk about the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and in particular the finish. And your dad talks about more times at bat, to use a baseball term, more bites at the apple.
Yeah.
What did you learn in your showdown and your playoff with Tess Hackworthy last week?
Yeah, that I'm really encouraged by where my game's at, first and foremost. Was bummed to not get it done. I 3-putted the last hole in regulation, so that just kind of hurt. But I did a lot of really good things. It came after a busy week and a weekend, and I caddied, and my body hurt. And, yeah, just mentally to regroup and kind of focus on me and my game. I was really happy with how I did that too. I put up some really good scores, and to break it down, you could break it down really to one hole on Tuesday. I made a 7 on 17. That was a triple bogey on that hole. So, right there, that's the tournament. And I'm very encouraged, and we had a lot of fun. Tess is a really close friend, and we had a lot of fun.
Bobby, I was just going to ask you about that. Give a quick history of you and Tess, because you mentioned you are a very good pair and good friends and that kind of thing. What was it like playing? I'm sure you've played against her many times, but just your general feeling of that whole event for the weekend there.
Yeah, so I've known Tess literally since I was in 3rd grade. We went to the same grade school growing up, did like the Maple Bluff, like soccer when we were super young. So I've known her forever, went to different high schools, but followed her to Wisconsin. And then now, we're traveling together, doing this pro thing. And she's been a really big blessing in my life, honestly, in that regard, because she's been kind of a mentor. She's 2 or 3 years older than me, like age-wise, but just a year older than me in school. So, she's been like that person that I've turned to when I don't know, in golf, like where I should be going, what I should be doing. And, kind of like a big sister in that way. So, and a really great friend. But, we had, and we dueled it out ever since we've really been in college. Teams, the Badger teams, and then, like I said, we've been traveling together the past year and a half to 2 years doing this pro thing. So, just a really fun weekend. I kind of figured it was going to come down to us two at the end there, and it did. And, it's having a person like that and a person that you know so well and you know their heart and you want to beat them so bad and they want to beat you so bad. But, I mean, I'm so proud of her and very happy for her and how her game is trending right now, and it honestly just drives me to continue to get better, which is a really cool thing, I think.
Yeah.
And we get to do it this weekend in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Yeah, that's right. Sweetgrass, right? You head up there. That'll be fantastic. Let me ask you about that conversation between you and Steve when you leave. Is there a cool down period? Like, how does that work? Because you obviously were disappointed, excited for your friend, but disappointed because you wanted to win. How does that conversation work with Steve? He was on your bag. He's your dad. He's a tremendous his career. How does that conversation play between you two?
Yeah. It's usually when I start the conversation, which I am very appreciative of, that it's not like he's not right away. Has he ever been like that? Even when I played tennis in high school. my parents just don't really do that. It's when I want to talk about it, so they let me kind of have a little heater. I was so mad when I was done. So,
Yeah.
you know, just let me kind of just do what I needed to do. And, yeah, it's usually starting with the positive. And then, like you said, he had a lot of things which are, you know, constructive criticism things that he got to see. And then I get to kind of focus on, you know, leading up to the next event.
Well, Bobbi, I tell you what, we're out of time. We're out of time tonight already. We were proud of you and your efforts last weekend and all you're doing. Keep it up, and we'll chat next week. Take care. Good luck in the UP.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Bobbi.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys.
We'll be back on Talking Golf after this timeout.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob's. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part. New or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf Effect Radio Show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right balance of care centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
It's time to lock in your tee time at University Ridge Golf Course. Now taking reservations up to 90 days in advance for the 2023 golf season. Book at universityridge.com. Proud host of the American Family Insurance Championship, University Ridge is a course for everyone with tees ranging from 5,000 to 7,200 yards. Even if you don't have time to play, stop out and play on the free putting course or pay $20 to hit practice balls for an hour on our grass tee practice range. Play where the Badgers and the pros play in 2023.
Welcome back. We are live at Luke and Anna's garage. Sean, what are we looking at here?
Well, Phil, Anna has taken over the garage with her candle business and left no room for lawn care storage. It looks like Luke has a 5-iron. No, make that a 4-iron to knock down the weeds around the house.
Great call, Sean. I don't think that 5-iron would have gotten it done.
It's a story as old as time, Phil. You gotta have the right tools for the job, and if you don't have a place to store the tools, then you should probably visit clearybuilding.com today.
A new year, and maybe it's time for new equipment. If yes, Nevada Bob's is the place to go. Jeff and Max are the fittest fitters around, and they can set you up from driver to putter and everything in between. And anything else golf-related, wheel and deal with Joel.
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
We're back on Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin. We got a reminder for you. You have an opportunity to play a wonderful golf course here in Wisconsin, and your golf fee goes to the Golf Effect charity. And the passes are for Wild Rock up in the Dells. We have 60 passes. They're $60 a piece, which is a great rate at Wild Rock. And the money comes to the Golf Effect charity, and you can deduct that if you want, and at the same time get that opportunity to play golf at Wild Rock. Go to the Golf Effect, AFFECT.org, and you'll see a segment there on the website that says Golf Passes. Click on that. You go to PayPal. You pay PayPal $60 if you want 4 passes. Pay it the 60 times 4. They'll be sent to you by TPC in Wisconsin. And we hope you'll get involved and support the charity. For Dave McCann, along with Dennis Tiziani, Mike Heller, Paul Braun, that is Talking Golf at TPC, Wisconsin.
News Talk 1310 WIBA.